Hello, and welcome to the Park Podcast, the Myers Park SGA's podcast series. My name's Carson, and I'm the senior representative here to answer all your questions about Myers Park. On today's episode, we'll be discussing working students from Myers Park and how they manage balancing both school and their job.
First up, we have sophomore representative Paige Bunnan interviewing Finley Hamilton, who works at Green Brothers.
Hey Finley, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We wanted to do an episode about how students at Myers Park balance their workload and school activities with being able to have a job. So could you tell me a little bit about what it's like balancing your schoolwork and outside activities and also working, and what it's like working where you work?
Hi, my name is Finley Hamilton, and I am involved in Myers Park through student government and the field hockey program. Recently, I have been employed by Green Brothers Juice Company, maybe a little over a month ago, so I am newly employed. However, so far it's been extremely impactful. At Green Brothers, I spend a lot of time in the front of the house, so I interact with a lot of the customers. I welcome them into the store, and which has also strengthened my skill of social interaction, which can be extremely useful in life. And I've also worked with the register, which I'm learning new things about that still every day. I also create the smoothies and the bowls with my fellow coworkers, which it's been extremely fun doing that. And then in the back of the house, I do a lot of the cleaning and the dishwashing. I restock, and I also cut the produce and make several of the other products that we sell at Green Brothers. The atmosphere at Green Brothers is very welcoming. I have already met several of the people that work there, even though our shifts overlap and we don't work together as often. But I've been out to dinner with some of the employees and learning different backgrounds and girls from different schools, which has been really cool. And I like the diversity at Green Brothers. The age groups vary, which has been extremely inspiring because it broadens my perspective on the community as I learn different skills from people that are older than me, but also people that are younger than me. Balancing schoolwork with work is not as hard as I thought it would be because I have learned how to manage my time properly. I have not procrastinated as much as I thought I would because I realized that both are priorities, and I need to prioritize schoolwork, and that always comes first. But I've been able to manage that, manage the workload, manage studying, and being prepared for Zoom lessons and assignments and tests and due dates. So I think it hasn't been too hard. It honestly has helped me grow, and that's been extremely impactful. So yeah, I think it's also really cool to be employed from something that's like outside of the Myers Park community, because I've met people that are from different high schools and go to different colleges, and it's just such a cool perspective that I've gained from the community. And I think that it has made my high school experience extremely interesting and fun, and I've just developed such great relationships through that.
Thank you so much for joining us, Finley. It sounds like your job is a really great experience, and that's super inspiring for anyone looking for a job. Next up, we have Carson Walthall interviewing McLean Madry.
McLean, how's it going? Thanks for joining us today in the Park Podcast. We are interviewing students like yourself who are a part of the Myers Park working class community, and we are trying to learn about them and what that experience has been like. And others may not know this, but You work at Publix, and I'd love to hear about how that's been for you. And my first question is, how long have you worked at Publix? What do you do at Publix? I'm curious, what's it like working at a grocery store?
Hey there, my name's McLean Madry. I have worked at Publix for 3 years. I bag groceries, gather carts, and do other miscellaneous activities.
What has your work environment been like? How hard has it been to balance work and school together? Are you involved in anything else at Myers Park?
It is a very friendly work environment with very nice employees and very nice staff as well. I struggled balancing work with school toward the beginning of my Publix career, but as I progressed through high school, I adapted and learned how to manage both. I am a member of the Anglers Club and the Tutoring ABCs Club at Myers Park. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for joining us, McLean. Now we're going to head over to Paige, who will be asking Liza Hill some questions. Liza works as a lifeguard.
Hey Liza, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate you coming on to talk about what it's like balancing school life and having a job. So, what do you do for work?
I've worked as a lifeguard for 2 years.
What's it like working there?
When I'm lifeguarding, I check people in, watch people in the pool to make sure they don't drown, enforce the rules, and clean the deck. It's really fun. All of my coworkers have a really close bond. I even got invited to my boss's wedding this summer. The atmosphere is overall very playful. We like to joke around and have fun even while working.
Do you find it hard to balance work and school with your extracurriculars as well? And what are some other things that you're involved with at school?
Thankfully, lifeguarding is only in the summer, so I don't have to worry about balancing work with school. But I am also a part of the Myers Park swim team, Odyssey of the Mind, and co-vice president of the Foundation for Tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us, Liza. That sounds like a really fun job. Finally, we're going to head over to Anne Gray Oxrider, sophomore representative, who will be interviewing Forbes Wallace.
Next with us, we have Forbes Wallace, who works at Outdoor Provisions. So Forbes, how long have you been working at Outdoor Provisions?
I've worked at Great Outdoor Provisions for about almost 2 years. What I do there is I stock hard goods and clothing, and I check people out at the register.
What is it like, the atmosphere and your coworker relationships?
It's a pretty good place to work. The atmosphere's good, and all the coworkers and the boss, they're all really nice, and you kind of can relate to all of them. It's nice.
That's nice you have a good relationship with your coworkers. My last 2 questions for you are, how hard has it been to balance work with school and extracurriculars? And what other things are you involved with at school?
Balancing work and school and extracurriculars isn't too bad because I don't work there a ton. I work like 3 hours a day every other day, and then I work on the weekends. So that's not too bad. At school, something I'm involved in is Young Life.
And that concludes this week's episode. Thank you to my fellow representatives and also all of the working students for joining me today. There are so many great ways to make money and get a work experience even while in school. In order to stay updated with all things Myers Park, it's important to follow at Myers Park High School and at MPHS_SGA on Instagram. Also, sign up for the Mustang Express email chain to receive important information about Myers Park. You can subscribe to the MPHS PTSO website. If you have any questions you would like to add to the podcast, you can DM either Instagram account. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another Myers Park High School Student Government podcast episode. We look forward to having you. Bye.